Hi, my name is Amanda Strickler, and this is my case study for EDL 854. Okay, so in summary over this case study, we have Mr. Santos, who is the building principal at Briardale Elementary. Um, Mr. Santos is in charge of the school that is centrally located within the community, so they sometimes serve as a community center for others. They also have a foundation that's associated with the school because the school doesn't necessarily have supplementary money in its budget to help those supplementary programs in elementary. So Mr. Barely was chosen to lead the Briardale Foundation group, and he was a parent, and this is his first year in doing so. Mr. Santos, the principal, and Mr. Barely had met to discuss the roles and expectations as the new foundation president. Mr. Barely was very excited about this opportunity and eager to lead the charge and come up with the new ideas. His idea was a selling raffle tickets to win a cash prize. He had done that in college and found it very successful, so he thought he could bring that idea into this school. The foundation approved Mr. Barely's idea, so they proceeded with the fundraiser that he had suggested. Little did everyone know that this is not necessarily legal, especially in Kansas. So someone tipped off the sheriff that a raffle for cash event was happening. And it's being illegal, the sheriff showed up and Mr. Barely was taken into custody and later charged with a misdemeanor for his role in organizing the cash for raffle event. So some legal and ethical issues brought to this case. Well, the first one I think is pretty obvious that the proper laws were not followed before conducting the fundraiser, and because of this, the school's reputation, as well as Mr. Barley's, was damaged, and legal consequences were handed out. Before conducting the raffle, the nonprofit organization should have maintained the proper raffle licensure application from the state of Kansas. Previously, had originally thought that this could not take place, but after researching, I noted, I think it was in 2014, that the rule changed because they understand that this is a good fundraiser for schools and nonprofits. So if you make over a certain amount, you have to have a licensure, and there's an application fee associated with that, and that's just for Kansas. I did not find that there was any harassment or discriminatory action, just carelessness of knowing the proper laws regarding raffles, and that's both on the foundation and Mr. Santos as the school principal. So to summarize this case, I believe the school's foundation has a new leader in charge who eagerly had an idea to help fundraise for the school that unfortunately did not follow proper laws and regulations, causing illegal action to occur and misdemeanor charges to be filed. So the facts, the people that involved are Mr. Santos, the Briardale Elementary principal, Mr. Barely, who is a parent that has taken on the role of the head of the foundation. The foundation itself, there are many members in this committee, teachers. Many of the teachers at Briardale Elementary have been there a long time. They don't have much turnover, which is always awesome. The community itself, and the local sheriff, as he was involved in maintaining a law. This happens at Briardale Elementary. The school is in the middle of a very diverse urban community. Like I mentioned before, it serves as a community center, so they're very open and willing to host events. And it is one of 6 elementary schools in the district, so that tells me the district is huge. And the program of Briardale houses approximately 600 students, kindergarten through 5th grade. It is a public school. and their emphasis focuses on basic skills, curriculum, and instruction. So, in review, unfortunately, the communities and stakeholders have been dinged by this unfortunate event and are trying to find a way to recover from this, because this is what they are counting on to help raise money to support the supplementary activities at the elementary school. It's also a big hit um, in terms of legal action had to occur. Many people, including the principal, foundation, superintendent, community, and sponsors of usually supported activities, all have stake in this as how is it handled, because either reputation-wise or fun-wise, these members are all affected. Stakeholders that should be notified are the principal, the superintendent, representative from the foundation, as well as district lawyers. I feel like this needs to happen so that everyone is on the same page and can find a way to move forward from this and learn from it, as well as recover. And then more about the situation can be learned by discussing options and outcomes with the lawyers, as well as obtaining proper paperwork for fundraisers and raffles if they want to continue to have that. And I believe that all one can do is make the best informed decision that they can with the information and options provided to support school improvement and student development. I do believe in different communities this situation could be handled differently, and what is considered acceptable by the school and community would be different from town to town, but the legal side of things would all have to be on the same page. So I've come up with 4 options on what the school and foundation can do. Option number 1 would to be let the hype and buzz die down, because that's going to be the talk of the town. Take no action, and basically the foundation is on their own. Let them figure out a way to recover from it. Number 2 would be to immediately terminate Mr. Barely as the foundation president, re-elect a new foundation president, and issue a public apology statement to the community, and try to proceed forward with the new president and his ideas. Number 3 would be to have an emergency meetings with the stakeholders, which would be the foundation, myself, the principal, or in this case, Mr. Santos, and superintendent, along with the proper attorneys or lawyers needed, if that is so deemed. And then release a public statement to the community, appoint a staff member to head the foundation from now on, and provide proper training, as well as obtain a raffle license. I think anybody involved with a fundraiser needs to have the proper training. And option number 4 would be to disassociate the foundation completely with the school and find another way to support supplementary programs within that elementary. So, weighing the odds of pros and cons for each option. For option 1, which would be basically lie down and do nothing, the pro would be there would be no cost and it doesn't require extra work. The con would be doesn't support schools or student development, doesn't address the issue at hand, and no effective communication. For option 2, the termination of Mr. Barely, re-electing a new president, and issuing a public apology statement. The pros of that would be it addresses community concern. You're attempting to regain trust with staff and community, and minimal amount of work would be required. The downside to that would be this is just a temporarily fix. It doesn't help anything in the future, doesn't address procedures, and school foundation relationship would not be mended. Option 3 would lead to, again, trying to mend the community trust, provide proper training, appoint someone with school ties as head of foundation, and would be effective way to communicate. The downside would be a lot of time and resources, and that the school and foundation aren't quite mended yet. Option 4, the pro don't have to deal or rely on an outside entity. All personnel should be trained the same and properly, and a downside would be lose valuable support system, have to find another way to come up with funds or cut programs with elementary, and potentially lose community buy-in and support. I believe my best option, after analyzing the different ones that I came up with, would be to choose option 3, as it would yield the most positive results. By this, meeting with different stakeholders, gathering different ideas, coming together, developing proper training for those wishing to head the foundation would be a big thing, and easing the tension among stakeholders in the community, as well as people in the school and foundation, and by obtaining proper licensing for future raffle fundraising events, or just having that just in case. I don't know if one would be willing to try that again, but just knowing the legal aspect of things that you have to have. So implementing my decision, the first step I would take would be to consult with the district's legal team and superintendent. I think that has to happen first, of where do we go from here. This is a big thing that just happened in our school. From there, leadership team would work together with them to come up with a plan and a policy for fundraising. So make one cohesive policy that everybody, that lays out the law for everything for everybody. Proper training would then be established for people who are in charge of fundraising, as well as people in the foundation. Details of the plan would be made available and published for everyone to view. The plan and policy would also outline consequences if they were not followed properly, and it would provide clear outlines for the foundation as well as the school, so that if things were not followed by the foundation, that the school would not be held responsible, and the liability, and the district would assume no liability from their errors. Again, my name is Amanda Strickler, and this was my EDL 854 case study.